Music by the Cool.
Hello, and welcome to Yes, That's My Kid podcast. I'm Asia, he's Anthony, and behind the scenes, we have the producer, Jacob. On Yes, That's My Kid podcast, we talk all things kid related, our experiences, journey, trials, tribulations, triumphs, and we just want to share with you guys. So I hope you like what you hear, and if you do, please like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, y'all know the deal. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and if you don't like it, just do it. Thank you. So now, Asia, hello, happy Sunday, happy Mother's Day.
Thanks.
You wonderful mother. How was your day today?
That sounds so sarcastic. Like, wow. Like, do you believe I'm a wonderful mother or
I think
not?
I think you're a fantastic mother.
Yeah?
What? Because I said wonderful because I said something positive?
Like, no. It's not because you said something positive. It's because of your tone and the sarcasm within it.
Oh my gosh. I'm not being sarcastic at all. Asia,
I am a great mom.
Mother. You are a great mom. You're a phenomenal mom. So how was your Mother's Day? It's well deserved as well.
Thank you, sir.
How was it?
It was fun.
Yeah.
My family, a lot of us, we went to the casino, Mohegan Sun.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, they were doing a brunch for Mother's Day with some like a live music, I guess. There was a saxophone guy there. A lot of food, a lot of dessert. They packed that ballroom, boy. They made a pretty penny, I'll tell you that much.
Damn.
And they had a little photo drop session. But it was really nice to see everyone, and we all pretty much got dressed up. Like, some people were just guests of the casino and were invited, but I think people who paid for it really got dressed.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I received a lot of compliments today because I was cute or whatever. Or whatever. So, yeah.
That's what's up. So you bought, I'm assuming you bought your daughter with you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Autumn was there. Michael was there. My mom, a lot of my cousins and aunts. Yeah. A lot of people. And I mean, you know how we just say cousins, aunts, but like second, third cousins, second aunts, whatever, great aunts. Yeah. But a lot of them were there. So it was fun seeing them. And actually, when we were ending, we didn't know the photographer, we didn't know the photographer was free.
Yeah.
Until the end, my cousin asked, because I was like, I'm not paying for somebody to take this picture. We just use our phone.
Yeah.
Then she was like, oh no, it's free. We just go on to the website whenever they upload it. And we were like, bet. Now we got like, immediately, you guys all jump in the picture. All right, all the moms, all right, all the women, all right, everybody get in the picture. Like all the different families too. And this guy was like, he was taking it all. And another family was waiting. And we were like, yeah, I want to get this shot. Like, just hop in. Just go. Like, being completely inconsiderate.
That's funny, yeah. That's what's up, though. Do you think you look at, like, Mother's Day different, maybe, I don't know, with a little more, like, reverence or respect since you became a mom?
I don't think so. Not in that manner. I think that, I guess I enjoy it more.
Okay.
Like, because before it's like me just saying Happy Mother's Day to people. Now people say Happy Mother's Day to me, and it feels like nice. And we do things. It's like, oh, I get to, like, even though I've celebrated it before, it's like, oh, now I'm actually celebrating it because I am a mom. So it does feel different.
Yeah, that's what's up. Did Autumn understand that it was Mother's Day? So like some effect, some degree.
I don't know, but she gave me a nice hug this morning.
That's cute.
Yeah. And I don't have my gift. I should have brought it down. They made at school little, like, not a hand mitten, but the other oven mitt, not the actual hand oven mitt, but the square one. And she put her handprints on it, and it said "Mommy's Helping Hands."
Oh, that's cute.
Happy Mother's Day, like 2022. I was like, that's dope. Snap! And I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to all the homemade gifts.
Yeah. Right? Was today your first time seeing it, or did you see it when she brought it home?
Friday. I did open it on Friday, yeah.
Did she give it to you, or were you just being nosy?
Oh my gosh, first of all, it said mom or something on the back. It was for me.
Okay. All right.
But no, she didn't really get a chance to give it to me because my mom was with me on Friday, and my mom wanted to pick her up. So this was her first time being in the daycare. And she's on the list, so she could come in. But my mom was like, let me go first because I want to know if she's gonna come to me. I want to see if she's gonna come to me, right? And I'm like, all right, mom, whatever. Like, because Autumn gets a little funny in the beginning, but she'll be fine, after a little second or two. So she's leading the way. My mom gets to the room door, So I'm trying not to be the first person Autumn sees, but also these teachers don't know my mother. So they're looking like, and I can see them right now looking at her like, who is this lady? So I'm over here in the door like, hey, can you see me, miss? And then I guess Autumn saw me. So now my mom was like pissed because Autumn, of course, wanted to go to me. And she's like, she saw you first. Like, no, you weren't supposed to show yourself. I'm like, Mom, like, look, you're confusing people. Like, another kid is walking out the classroom right now. The teachers are like, oh, I didn't know if you wanted her to come out or just look. Or, I'm like, this is too much. So, yeah, I just like took the present from like, the teacher at that point. So it was just too much going on.
Yeah. No, that's cute. That's still cute, though. That's what's up.
How about you? How was today? Did you do anything special for Amy?
So today we're actually trying to go to Atlanta because one of my brother-in-law's homies started a church. Okay. So we were going to go to that, but the kids ended up sick. So we're actually going to do that, and we're going to hang out in Atlanta. But the kids ended up sick, so we just stayed home all day. But I had gotten my wife some shoes that I wanted. They came in like Friday. So she was happy about those. And yesterday she went and got her hair done. And today we just chilled out at the crib, let the kids get better, picked up some PF Chang's and just, let her get some relaxing time. And that was cool. And then my daughter, she made her card.
Happy Mother's Day, Amy. Sorry, just wanted to get that in.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, now go.
And so my daughter made her like a Mother's Day card, and she made her like some wrote like a story of like why her mother's special type thing in school. And it was dope. It was really, or why she loves her mother. And it was cool though. I love Mother's Day. Mother's Day and Father's Day are like probably my two favorite holidays out of the year. So that was that. So talk about your Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, so whatever. I made an appointment to go to Louis Vuitton store because like I felt like I just wanted to splurge a little bit, treat myself, get a nice little name brand purse. And I never really cared for purses or designer, period. Like growing up, I just didn't care for it, one, because I couldn't afford it. And two, it's like I didn't really care for things that had a whole bunch of labels splatter everywhere. I'm just not that person. But I'm getting into some luxury things nowadays. So Michael started a new job and he gave me his first check because I am an awesome, supportive wife. And I was like, you know what? Let me get a new purse. And I went to the Louis Vuitton store and spent a nice little something. But I love it. It's pretty.
That's dope though. I'm happy to hear it. Yeah. That's pretty fire. I'm glad you got a high-end, high-quality bag. So is that item the one item you spent the most on aside from like a house and a car and things like that? Like any luxury item, like jewelry, anything? Is that the most you ever spent on something?
Besides my wedding dress, I'd probably say yes. Yeah. My wedding dress was up there. So yeah, this is probably the next most expensive. Although, well, yeah, Michael purchased my YSL purse as a gift for my birthday. And I don't know how much he spent on that. So maybe it's equivalent.
Yeah. That's what's up. Shout out to Mike too. Got you a couple bags now. Gave you his first check.
But we're not rich, so don't think you could come over and rob us because you're not getting anything. We also don't carry cash. There's nothing over here.
It's nothing over here. Yo, shout out to your man on Mother's Day, hooking his wife up. So let's move on to what's in your feed.
Yeah.
So in today's feed, we have Roe vs. Wade. That seems to be a controversial topic that is working its way through the nation. So now, Asia, my Mother's Day correspondent, tell me, what's your take on this trying to overturn Roe vs. Wade?
I think that it's terrible. I also think that it's been a plan for many, for a long time. It's been a long time coming. There's just states that have, like, if this is truly overturned, because what occurred right now is just a draft, but if this is truly overturned, I think they said there are about 26 states that will basically ban abortion if this passes or if this is overturned. So, I mean, I am pro-choice. I've always been that way. So I don't think that this is great for Americans at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think I would mimic your sentiments.
Yeah.
Would you have
I
more
also,
years on?
I was gonna also just say that, like, it seems like the argument is you're either pro-choice or pro-life, right? But the people who band together and identify as pro-life seemingly, largely, I guess I would say generally, do not actually care about lives of the
Mm,
living, right?
mhm,
So they go so gung-ho about, the fetus, a child, developing who hasn't even been born yet, right? They're so against abortion. However, there are a lot of people living, a lot of children here that can use a lot of help.
mhm.
And I think that these people are quite silent,
Yeah,
even to poverty, right? As a whole, like they don't truly care about people living. So how can you actually be pro life?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mimic your sentiments. Obviously there's a bunch of contradictions that you can bring up for people who are pretty much pro overturning this and everything.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, no, I definitely mimic those sentiments. I mean, even if you look at it from a standpoint of uh, like the vaccine, right?
Hmm.
A lot of people who were like, "It's my body. You're not going to put
My
something in
choice,
me that
right?
I don't." Yeah, my
Yeah.
body, my choice. A lot of those people who were anti-vax at that point are
Hmm.
not like, "No, we should mandate this."
Yeah.
It's not your body and your choice in this case, right?
Yeah.
And to your point, like, I mean, a lot of the people who are, we'll say, anti-abortion, and whatnot, we'll just say that, are also the ones that are kind of like, y'all need to stop having kids. What y'all doing
Yeah.
with that? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, it's a lot of like just contradictions with the whole thing. But yeah, and to sum it up, yeah, I'm just not. I'm for people having making their own decisions with their
Yeah.
lives for whatever reason whatever reason they choose to
It's
do it.
their body. Like a
Yeah,
lot of, sorry to cut you off, but
yeah,
a lot of these white men will never know what it's like to be pregnant, to deliver a child, to have complications with pregnancy or delivery, to die
mm,
because you're pregnant, or the complications with delivering a child. And so I don't think that they should ever have a say. First of all, even without that period, you should not have a say on what another person can do with their own body. Like, why? Why
yeah,
is that okay?
yeah.
I
No, I
don't I
agree.
don't even I think I can't even wrap my mind around what their justification is. Like
Yeah,
I honestly do not understand it. Why do you think that government should control whether or not a woman decides to give birth?
yeah,
Even in cases of like rape, right? Because another thing is like, well, they believe a lot. I won't even say all of them, but a lot of people I've read also believe that even if you're raped, you should still deliver that child.
hmm,
You should still go through that trauma of carrying this child through what the tragedy that you went through. I don't even understand that. Like, how can you stand behind that? Why
yeah,
should this woman have that man's child?
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, yeah, I'm just for people making their own decisions. At
Yeah.
the end of the day, I'm just with people making their own decisions. And another thing, just like another strange aspect of it too, if you think about it, which you probably have, but I'm gonna put it out there anyway, is like there's a lot of there's a lot of obviously this is a woman's topic, right? It's I feel as though, like, to your point, a man doesn't know all those things that can happen, the feelings, da da da. So I think it's more of a woman's decision more than anything. In terms of even with this law, right? I mean, I think it's a little like asinine to have men making, you know, something like this up. So,
Hmm.
but anyway, with that being said, um, it's like a lot of women who are complicit because I feel like a lot of these men are married. So like, what are their wives saying about this shit? You know what I'm saying? Are they all just like, yeah, you're right,
Follow the
honey?
leader, of course. Although a lot of, I won't even say a lot. I know that some of these men have mistresses, probably got someone pregnant, and probably had abortions.
Facts, facts. So that's
So,
so aside from me just being, you know, pro people doing whatever their decisions are, right, making their own
hmm,
decisions. The other side of it is that I know that this is steeped in something that's not noble. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no nobility, no actual heart nothing like that. For me, it sounds like it's more control and stuff like that. Like there's no nobility or genuineness into trying to regulate anything that's involved in this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people bring up the religion thing and stuff like that. My take is you can't regulate salvation. You know what I mean? Like you can't be you can't make someone with whatever in their heart is in their heart. You know what I mean? So, but that's a whole nother topic. So yeah. So that's my take. That's your take. Now let's move on to today's topic. How do you plan on balancing your daughter's education between what you're teaching her, you and Mike are teaching her at home, and what she's picking out from like technology, being on YouTube and internet and stuff like that? How do you plan on balancing those areas?
Through conversation with my child.
Elaborate.
I will. So I'm not a teacher, right? So I have to trust these schools to do a fine job or have some lay of the land, some basics there, right? Some foundation, something I can build upon. I have to trust that they're doing a decent job. But in areas where they are lacking is where I can make sure within this household we put more effort into. So maybe whatever school we choose for her, really great at math, really great at, I don't know, social studies, even though that's like, yeah. But like, say history, right? We already know that they're only talking about white man's history in there. And so perhaps in that area within this household, we can make sure that we're picking up the slack there. And starting at a young age, we don't have to wait until like high school or something to be like, okay, now you can truly understand what the history is in America or something, Yeah. So I think that the balance is talk to her about what she's actually learning. Right. So we can, that's our way of truly knowing what's going on, making sure we're looking over her homework and she's not just like, doing her own thing, going to school, doing her own homework. And then like, we just send her back out and never know what's going on, but making sure that we have some idea of what the curriculum is. And then we have conversations and I guess if she doesn't, so summer school for me wasn't really a thing. I was a good student. We did activities or whatever, but my father did make sure that we read books during the summer. And so that's like something that I can continue to do with my children, my child right now, just Autumn, is to make sure that like she's not just idle in the summer. And I would want her to do other activities as well, but continue reading. And I don't really want to like make her do a book report, but let's just talk about it. Have some type of conversation. But if she likes writing, maybe it doesn't have to be as strenuous, just something light and be like, what's your interpretation of what you read? To kind of see like what her thoughts are. So it's not just people constantly drilling into her how she should think or what she should know. It's like, all right, what do you take from what you've read?
Sure. I think that's a good way to do it. Yeah, we're big on comprehension over here. Like that's like my main. If I had to pick like a category or subject, it'd be reading and comprehension are like my main focal points for my daughter. What's your focal point? Like, oh, not even focal point. How much emphasis do you think you'll put on education?
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those
grades.
I think certain area grades. I mean, both Michael and I did well in school, so I think naturally we will want our child to do well. But I think as far as like subjects, because it seemed like what you said, reading comprehension, reading is absolutely vital, right? I mean, just think about how people control you. It's like through language, through words. If you don't read, then you don't really know what's going on,
right?
And not just reading, headlines. You like actually dive into topics.
Yeah.
But I also think that we're probably inclined to math and science in this household.
Yeah.
And so I think that we'll also probably push STEM and make sure she's well versed there.
Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, we are proponents of getting good grades, but we don't place that much emphasis on it, to be honest. Just because, especially like becoming an adult, doing well in life, just like career-wise and stuff, but then also seeing how many other things there are out here, it really like puts things into context in terms of what I actually needed from school. Like the reality is I obviously needed reading and comprehension. That's like the biggest piece. But then also my basic arithmetic type math, multiplication, division, things like that are probably like the foundations for anything else that's necessary for a lot of careers or a lot of, I don't know, thoughts and ideas and business opportunities. Like it's just so many other things out here aside from things you necessarily need a degree for. So that's why she does. Our daughter does well in school, but it's not like, I don't know. We don't try to hang it over our head too much. Like, oh, because grades, in my opinion, aren't a depiction of your success in life. You could get straight A's, and you could get straight A's in school and still not be successful, or you could get straight C's and go off and be great. So we don't necessarily put a lot of emphasis on the grades. We do put a lot of emphasis on what we feel, if she's comprehending or if she's making growth and steps and progressing where she should. That's probably where we put the most, or if she's giving her all and giving enough output and stuff like that. But the grades part, we don't put too much emphasis on.
I think so. I say because I think, and maybe because grades were a focal point in the household when I was growing up, that I think it helped me to continue moving forward. Even when I didn't have someone over me saying like, hey, let's strive for good grades. It was in me to actually go for that myself. I'm actually driven by accolades. Like I feel like I am successful in a way when I achieve something, I guess in higher learning or something. If that's what I'm going for, I feel more successful because of the things that I can attain and because of the things that people can't really take away from me. In that sense, like no one can really take your degree away from me, even though it's just a stupid little silly paper. But in some ways, it did get me a good job, right? And I think that it can teach some discipline. Like, so I know there's an argument like standardized tests is not the most efficient way of testing. Like everyone doesn't do well in those settings in those areas, but I think striving for good grades can be good just for some type of discipline and within self, right? I think that we talked about before, like how do you teach? I don't know. Did we say like will or just some form
something
of
to that effect,
right?
Yeah, something to that effect.
So I think this is kind of similar. It's like, well, I won't harp on you, like, but I will try to like feed this into you, like, hey, this is important, and maybe within herself she'll be like, okay, I think that this is important, and like if I can do this, if I can sit here, study, and get good grades here, like when I go into the world, I know that I have enough discipline to do whatever I want, even if that's in the arts field. It's like, if you don't have any discipline here in this area, then maybe it's a little bit harder to have discipline in an area that even if you're more passionate about it, whatever that subject is. It's like if you've never really had to do it, if you've never been pushed in one way, maybe it might be harder to in a different area feel like you can do something and make it through.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I agree with all that. I think it depends on the individual and what drives them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Personally, I know a lot of people who didn't do well in high school, but they're killing it because they started businesses or they went into like specific trades. And that's another thing. I mean, did you end up? I went to a trade high school.
Yeah, so I went to one as well.
I thought you did too. Yeah. So maybe that is kind of helps kind of scope my outlook on things too, because people were successful who didn't necessarily do great in their academics, but they did well in their trades and stuff like that. But yeah, I just personally know a lot of people who weren't the best students academically, but they're pretty brilliant just in terms of like understanding contracts and business and things like that. But if they're kind of like not value, but like their confidence was predicated on their grades, then they would have just been like down in the dumps.
For those people though who you're saying are great at business, where did they learn that from? If not from school, from the streets?
Yeah.
Okay, and then so with that,
or just from having the confidence to, they didn't know what they didn't know, so they just jumped into it and they kind of learned on the way. Okay. So you follow what I'm saying? Like they didn't know certain things that somebody may be like, well, did you ask about this? Da-da-da. So they ended up figuring it more out on the way. Some people just learn better like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus just going through a book and reading stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna say, like, in our case, our children will not have that street knowledge. Most likely, like, what I'm assuming, you know, for some of the people you may know, I'm assuming their upbringing will be different than what our children will have. So I think they will be lacking it in that area. So, I mean, as long as there are other ways that you can develop these traits, you know, then whatever works, right? Like, I agree that academics is not the only way to be successful. Like, it depends on like who you know, right? A lot of good jobs.
Because that's another thing in my head too. Because honestly, how I look at it too is just like you could just look like out in the world. You could look in politics and see there's a bunch of people who are much stupider, right? There's a bunch of people who are for sure who we're smarter than, who we know other people are much smarter than, but they were able to figure it out through whatever reason, through whatever way they were able to figure out and have it work for them. So that's why I say, like, I don't put too much emphasis on grades as long as there's like actual learning and progression. Even like in college, I feel like my first 2 years of college, I was like completely like thrown off because I was like, a lot of the people had, you know, people cheat like crazy in college. So they're getting great grades from cheating, or they had siblings who just took this class last semester or something like that. So they got the answers to everything. And I'm like, y'all, like, but I could tell you, I know for a fact that I knew more about that class, even though they were getting better grades than me. So that kind of helped scope how my outlook on things too. That's what I mean. Like, you know, just yeah.
No,
but
I get that.
I'm not disagreeing with you because I definitely feel as though, you know, for some people it's a driver. For me, it wasn't necessarily a driver, but to your point, I knew that it was necessary in order for me to get in certain places, right? Yeah. You got to have a certain GPA when you go into a different specific career field.
That's what I was going to say. I guess it depends on if you know what you want to do, if you know the field you want to go into, then I think maybe that will mean more. I don't know, because I mean, I guess just in like the scenario that you said, I mean, I didn't have any siblings who went, you know, to college before I did, and I think I only started cheating like junior senior year. I didn't cheat for a while. Yeah. I'm good at cramming though. Yeah, I've always been a procrastinator. I'm really great at cramming. Yeah. But to your point, I can't. I think I've always done well at school.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I've retained. Right. So even though I was a great student, that doesn't mean that I was always learning something. Especially if I didn't care about it. I just like if I pay attention in class. I never really had to take notes for the most part, but if I paid attention, I would listen to whatever the teacher was saying. I would do well.
Yeah.
I kind of remembered things. I cared about like stuff like math, though. I would actually practice and try that.
Right.
Do scenarios. That's something that I truly liked. I did like math. But for things I didn't care about, I was like, all right, just pay attention. And then we know we're going to cram like the night before, the morning of, and I'm going to do well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't start actually like cramming or studying till I got to college.
Yeah.
Like, and that was probably why my first year was so hard, because it was I didn't have that skill set to study and stuff like that. But yeah. So to your point, I understand. I get what you're saying. So how do you plan on balancing? Oh, so then going back to the original question, right? Balancing technology and stuff like that, and with how you're educating your daughter. I mean, I also feel as though there's so much opportunity to just learn things out here, whether it's YouTube or just looking things. You literally have everything that you need just by looking it up.
Yeah.
So I guess, what are your thoughts on that?
On these other avenues for learning?
Yep.
I think it's fine. I think if you do that, then you're showing that there's something that you're interested in, and you're doing all that you can to learn about that subject. Like, I think we both read Malcolm Gladwell's book, 10,000 Hours, right? So say, like, I don't know, in middle school, you might not be learning about a certain subject, but if all the information is out there, if you know, find some good YouTube videos. There are teachers who teach on YouTube. I found a lot of stuff when I was studying for the CPA on YouTube for free. If you look online, if you see something, if you are actually just diving in and interested in that, I'm not going to stop you. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's great that you found something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
As far as like, what's the parental guide locks? I don't even know. What do you call these things?
I don't know. I don't use them.
You know what I'm talking. You don't use them. That was about to be my point. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna use them. Maybe I will. There has to be some mechanism in place where we're, I guess, being nosy parents, because our kids not gonna tell us everything as much as we talk to them and
Yeah.
want to have that open communication.
Yeah.
There still has to be a way that, I don't know if I want to say control, but I just need to know what's going on. Don't be doing some weird shit online.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Don't
That's
be
a
giving out
fact.
your location. Don't be talking to these like older people. There are crazy people
Yeah.
in the world. So there has to be a way that
Yeah.
I have some supervision.
Yeah, I think even control isn't like a harsh word. I mean, they're children. It's okay to supervise and
Yeah.
put a fence around them and make sure they're not walking out where they shouldn't be walking out to. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. So I don't use like the tech aspect of like the parental guidance.
Yeah.
But I definitely be like, nah, what you looking at? What they talking about? Tell me what they talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or if I hear
Yeah.
something that sounds kind of wild, I'd be like, all right, we ain't watching this. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So usually I just ask her what she watching and stuff like that. Because some of the stuff, I don't know, people be sneaking stuff in there, like even like little kid things. People be
Mhm.
sneaking these weird ass things in there. So yeah. But I think going in the future, like we got a college savings, not even a college savings thing. We're saving money for college and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But it's not even specifically for college. It's for like whatever, to be honest. It's for her in the future.
It's a trust fund.
No.
Kind of.
It's an investment account.
Okay, and so at some point in her life, will you release all the funds to her?
Yes,
It's a trust fund. It's basically like a trust fund. Maybe legally, legally, it might not be a trust, right? It might not be set up as a trust, but it's basically a trust fund. I want us to start bringing inheritances and all this stuff into our lives. I think that is like no, right? I'm gonna say when I believe your reaction was no.
Mhm.
Why I believe that is because it's like corresponds with whiteness. Like, what is a trust fund?
Yeah.
Right? Well, we don't have any trust funds. We barely have inheritances, right? But why not? It's the same thing. It's a trust fund for your kid.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm about to start speaking this rich language.
No, feel free to speak that language. Okay, I'll call it a trust fund. But no, that wasn't my reason for saying it. My reason for saying it is because when it comes to like just, I like to be specific. So I specifically didn't think it was a trust fund because I didn't think legally it could be categorized as a trust fund. But I do understand your sentiments.
It's literally the same thing. It's set up
effect.
for a
it's
child.
the same effect. It's the same effect. I'm just saying, like, legally, I don't think like a lawyer would have to be involved to say, all right, this is in your trust of the state or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But if you have a living will and say that this account was set up for my child to release it at a certain age, effectively it's a trust.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But it's already set up that way. So even if regardless of what happens to me, it has a social security and it's set up to go directed to her when she turns 18.
Effectively a trust.
Yeah, it is. It is 100% effectively a trust. So, but anyway, yes. So we have a trust investment account, a trusted investment account that we have set up for both our kids. And it can be used for school, or it can be used for if they want to start a business, or it can be used for if they want to go into a trade, or if they want to invest in something, or become a landlord whenever they come of age. That's what it's for. So it's not necessarily geared towards like college. If that's what they want to do, then cool. But they have to have like a vision for what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I agree. One thing that I would stress in this household is financial literacy. That's not spoken enough about within schools. Credit, how important that is in the society, and taxes even, right? Because you don't have to pay H&R Block. You know what I'm saying? You could do that junk for free until you have a lot of assets. Like when you're just a student or a young adult, you don't have too much going on and you can easily do it yourself, so you don't have to pay hundreds of dollars to have some other business do it.
So, I mean, even like those things that you said, right? Even those things that you just said, which was like financial literacy, credit, taxes, we could throw in like how to get a mortgage and things like that. Those like life skills. Yeah. That is definitely what I place way more emphasis on, because those are the things that are actually going to, for me, translate and actually mean something in my life versus 80%, 85% of the stuff that I actually learned and got graded on. So I think that's a better way of putting it for the point I was trying to make. Yeah. It's like those actual things, because you can work a very I don't know what word you want to say, not the highest paying job, and still do great. You know what I'm saying? And still do really, really good because you understand financial literacy, right? So you're investing properly. You're not spending above your means. You're you can, as long as you understand real estate, you can start getting into real estate to a degree. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why we don't necessarily put a whole lot of value, because there's just so many other ways to win.
I still think, agreed. I still think though, like, even with some of these businesses, if you start it, you have to have some type of education. Like, a lot of people have great ideas, are visionaries, and try to start a business, and it plummets because they don't have that background. They might learn from experience eventually, but why don't you kind of like, I would want you to have some sort of head start instead of being far behind. Like, these other people are getting education or educated in these areas, so I'm like dying. I'm like dying. Trying to talk to my eyes watering. I'm trying to get my sentence out.
You really trying to still get it all out. You really about to pass out over here.
Right? I don't even know what happened. Just, you don't want your kid to be behind these other children.
That's a fact, though. That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? But, give them the tools.
Give it to them.
Lead a horse. Lead a bitch.
Bro, did you see what you did? You said leader. Looking like a straight drunk aunt. You got leader good. Oh shit!
Like, in my head, I know it, but it's like I remember.
Hey, come up, right? You know the premise of it.
I know. Lead a man.
You got leading the fish, but
yeah, teach them how to fish.
Can't make them drink if they ain't fishing.
I say, whatever that saying is, baby, right? You know what I mean. Jake, you writing a novel video? What you writing? You can lead him to the water, but you can't make him drink.
Yeah.
Or teaching me into fish, and he'll never go hungry. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I was probably mixing both of them.
That's terrible, yo. That shit was funny though. Okay. All right, so let's summarize this. That was actually a pretty straight summary, but we're gonna have you summarize this collectively.
I am. So basically, people of the world, what you need to know is that the world is going to teach your children, but how are you going to make sure they know enough? How are you going to make sure they know the right things? How are you going to make sure they know fact from fiction? You know what I'm saying? Opinions are out there, but what is the truth? All right? The world will teach, but will you?
Well,
don't hear me.
That's the word. That's the word of the day.
You know what I'm saying?
So, good stuff. Happy Mother's Day, Asia.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again. And let's hop into this dad joke right quick.
All right. Dad joke. Yeah. This about to be stupid.
All right. What do you say to your sister when she's crying?
Shut the fuck up.
That's true too. That's not the answer though.
What do you say to your sister when she's crying?
Yeah.
Shh. Sister. Stop. Sis. Silence.
What? Silence.
Silence. No.
Not quite it. 10.
Sibling.
9. 8.
Hey.
7. 6.
Sister.
5.
None.
4. 3. 2.
Sister
1.
Mary Clarence.
No, that's not what you say. Are you having a crisis? Are you having a crisis?
Sis. Are you having a crisis?
Oh, that was a good one. I got another one.
Okay.
Why are skeletons?
That one was clever. I would say
that was good.
That
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Why are skeletons such bad liars?
Skeletons, such bad liars, because they break down. Their bones are weak. Skeletons.
Oh, wow, that's actually a really good one because they break down. That would probably been a better answer in this one.
Why are skeletons bad liars?
Yeah. 10.
Bones crack.
9. 8.
Skeletons.
7. 6.
They have no
4.
defibrillator.
2. 1. You can see right through them.
You can see right through them.
Yeah, because that's another pretty good one.
That was not really good.
It was good
to me. You can see right through them.
Yeah.
But they're bones. It'll be different if like it was like flesh and you can see right through them to the bones.
Well, no.
Like, what are you seeing?
Because there's gaps that would have meat and flesh there. Let's not do this. All right, well that's it.
Oh, thanks, Anthony.
That's my dad joke of the week.
Amazing.
So everyone, thanks again for tuning in. Keep tuning in.
Thank you. This is Yes, That's My Kid podcast. Please appreciate y'all. Comment, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And happy Mother's Day to all of the wonderful mothers out there.
Facts. Happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful mothers.
Me.
All right. Peace, y'all.